So glad you're tuning in today to the Dating with Katy podcast. This is a tender topic, but it is a really important one to talk about, especially with the holidays coming up. And, the things that I've been talking about have been really deep. Being thankful for being single was 2 weeks ago. Last week, I talked and touched about, do you have a standards list? Are you just dating and it's just not going well and your picker is off? So go listen to that one. Today, I'm talking about sobriety and dating. And really, what does that mean in this day and age when you have options of you're a social drinker? Not that anybody ever puts, I frequent drinking multiple times a day on their Bumble profile, but how can we see that in a first date, right? And I'm here to help you get confident, be successful, and have some fun dating. So make sure that you do subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. I feel like I give you some pretty practical tips as a high-end matchmaker, putting hundreds of people on dates throughout the year and over the last 10 years. The feedback that I get, especially on drinking and alcohol, is really important. And as a company, we take it extremely seriously. I mean, I've had people on first dates. She drank so much that she fell over and hit her head in a parking lot. And, this is why we actually have liability and we have everyone sign contracts before they go on dates, because we are not responsible for your bad behavior. So, or your immature behavior or your irrational behavior, all of that can happen on first dates. And you know what I mean. Let's get started with today. And, 2024 is only 5 weeks away. And I will be honest, I have never gone sober. And we're going to talk about this term sober and sobriety in a minute. But I've never gone without alcohol for a length of time. So I'm going to challenge you in January. My husband and I are going to be doing, no drinking at all for the month and going clean, or what's the word? I think they have something for it, but it's just the idea of we're not going to drink. We'll choose sparkling water. I'll choose more iced tea. And it will be a challenge for me because I know me. I already live a pretty healthy lifestyle and I'm pretty disciplined in a lot of areas of my life. So I like having undisciplined areas, like being able to have a drink of wine at night. I'm not obese. I'm not trying to count calories. So I know that I can enjoy it. And it makes me feel like I'm adulting, but really, do I need it? And so this month in January coming up is going to be great for me because it's really going to challenge me. It's like an ice bath. Like, how much can I handle, right? So, so I think if you want to join me in January, we're going to go dry January is what they call it. I think it would be really a great idea. So just want to say this out loud so I am accountable. And it's a good month, too, because there's not a lot of parties and things like that. So I know I get swayed into it as well. And really, honestly, I hear so many stories. I was on the phone yesterday with a good friend who's also, she's single, and we were chatting, and this guy she's dating, and he's a lawyer. And I'll tell you what, I've dated lawyers, and they are drinkers, man. It's just part of their lifestyle. It's part of their career. A lot of drinking involved. And she went to her friends for Thanksgiving. She brought him along. He's kind of the new guy in the group. And sure enough, he drank before, he drank there, and he got drunk. And it was embarrassing to her. And, you're new in a relationship. And she's like, Katy, what do you think? I said, don't do it. Dump him. I'm pretty quick like that. I know my friends well, and I know the standards that they should be having, and they don't always have them, which go listen to my last podcast. Or go check out, actually I did a YouTube live as well, and go check that out. It's like how to create that standards list. And I'm working that with you on that YouTube live. Sorry, I'm pulling up my blanket here. It's chilly here. That's why I got my turtleneck on and my hoops. Okay, so in this moment, she's like, well, do I like him? Do I keep him around? No. If it's this early on, and again, my 3 dates, 3 weeks, 3 months, dump him. If he cannot be mindful, she said, I felt like I had another child. I felt like I was babysitting him. He was talking out of his mouth and it was embarrassing. My daughter was there. No, move on. There are plenty of great fish in the sea. There are plenty of 20%ers. Move on, sweetheart. So I was quick to let her know, no, I don't even like him yet. So I don't like him. You can move on. Katy's approval to dump him. Send the text and be like, sorry, this is not working for me. So with all that being said, let's talk about sober, right? A lot of people will say they're sober, but what is the context of that? And I'm no expert in sobriety here. Obviously it's no alcohol. But why do people choose to not drink? The number one thing that we need to be cautious of are people who are coming out of the addiction of alcoholism. And you can have your opinions on that. That doesn't bother me. But if someone just can't control themselves around alcohol and it's an addiction and they are just, they're peer pressured into it or whatever, it's by their own free will and choice. is really what it is. That is somebody you might not want to be dating. I would call them an 80%er because they're really not ready to date if they have not really taken control of that situation in their life. And a lot of those people, and I've been out there dating, and I remember this one guy, he said, every morning I go to my AA meeting at 6 a.m. and it's a, without fail. So whoever I date has to understand that about me. And I thought, well, as a woman, do I really want to know that every morning my man is getting up and going to an AA meeting? And look, I applaud him for being consistent and knowing what he needs and doing that, but I'm not sure that I'd want to jump into a relationship like that. So when you are meeting someone and maybe they are going through the AA process or they, are very steeped into that lifestyle, great for them. Think about, is that really something that you two want to be a part of? And so give them the space and grace to kind of work through that. And the next one I would say, so first is addiction. Why are people sober? Number one is because people are addicted. And here's one last thing on that. I met a guy who's like, I used to be, an alcoholic, but I am sober now and I just smoke pot every day. Okay, well, sometimes these people go from one addiction to the next. And so really be mindful and listen to the cues. You will see them on a first date. You guys should know these by now. You're smart adults. For anybody with addiction issues. All right, moving on. Some people, and this is usually 75% of our clients, they're just too busy to be hungover. Man, the older I get, like one glass of red wine, boom, right here. It's right in my forehead. I feel it the next day. I'm all snuffled up. I got to take a decongestant and for the histamines, and it's not fun. It's just like, where's the little peppy Katy that I know? So many people I know, our clients included, don't drink because they just don't have time to be hungover. And that's my 20%ers. And then other people just don't drink and are sober because they don't like it. It just makes them sick. It doesn't feel good to them. They don't really get an energy from it. I mean, I'll be honest, I can go out on a dance floor and have a blast, and I don't even need a single drink of alcohol. As a matter of fact, I just went dancing recently in the Dallas area, had so much fun. Somebody watched us and thought we were all on drugs. I'm like, I'm sorry, but no. I don't do drugs, and I don't need to be, drinking with a drink in my hand out on a dance floor, which I hate those girls. They spill everywhere. Girl, put your drink down and just come and dance for fun. So they are just people who, like you and me, just don't want to drink. So, and usually they're quite healthy. They have other things that they're spending their time and their money on and their focus. And here's the thing, if you are dating someone sober who isn't a drinker or has had the addiction in the past but move forward. My uncle was an alcoholic in his marriage and amazing. I mean, turn of God right there. Him and his wife, still married. He is fully sober. He does not have an issue if you're drinking in front of him. It's the holidays. He is not tempted. So it is easy to be around him. He is not judgmental. And most people are like that. So I would say most people are like my uncle, and they are just fine if you are having a drink. So if you do meet somebody on the apps, if you're out and about and they're like, well, I don't drink, will you shut down the judgment, please? Will you stop saying, well, they're not going to be very fun? That's the other thing people say. Well, they're not very fun. And I don't want to date someone who's not fun. I can't go to Napa with someone who doesn't drink. Well, yeah, you can. You can easily go to Napa and do wine tasting, and they can have something else. There's lots of mocktails nowadays. They can have sparkling water. They can have hot tea. The person who's not drinking doesn't care. As a matter of fact, you should be more interested in the person than the liquor drink. So keep that in mind. And those people are actually a lot of fun because they have to bring it up naturally, right? It's not going to be a fake fun. So I applaud people who are a lot of fun and are not drinking. And, you've seen it on the Housewives. I mean, I don't even know how those ladies stay so skinny. It looks like they're just chugging drinks all the time. And the reason they drink, and it's the same on The Bachelor, because I was on the Next Food Network star, and one of my producers had done The Bachelor. And so for all of these shows, they want you drunk because drunk is drama, and drama sells. And it doesn't sell in relationships, but it sure sells on TV because for some reason, people love to watch it. Now, I hate it. I turn it off. I have zero tolerance for catty women and trashy men and, people who are intolerant in all of that and just rude. And it's like, I don't even want to waste my time watching that kind of stuff. But I don't know, America seems to love it. Those 80%ers. And it's not something I want to ingest in my life. But these women are drinking, and they're drinking so that they can fight. And that's what happens. When people drink, people fight. And I will say this, embarrassingly enough, that everything I have ever regretted in my life is because I was drinking too much. Okay. And I don't ever want to regret things in my life. The times that I have been rude and just obtuse is from alcohol. And I hate saying that. I mean, my kids have seen it and they saw it once and it was just embarrassing. So let's get bigger than that. Let's be wiser than that. And let's really be wise about our alcohol intake on dates and with the people we love. And now here's the thing is the beauty of the people who aren't drinking, who are sober, is that they're actually, they're a safe driver. I dated a guy, he never drank, never had an issue. As a matter of fact, he remembered wine and he could smell it and he would tell me what was good. He'd never take a sip of it. And he was done with drinking for life because it had ruined his first marriage. He was so wine knowledgeable. It was still pretty sexy. And so he'd help me pick my wine and I just have a glass of wine. And here's the win of that is he's a safe driver. So I'm a tiny girl, and if I drink 2 glasses of wine, I'm probably over my max, especially, I mean, there's certain states where you can have 0. It's a 0 tolerance state. So Arizonans got to be careful. But it's always great to have a safe driver. And you hate people who have a couple drinks and they still say they're the safe driver. So you've got a built-in safe driver. The other thing is that you are going to have to learn to connect on greater things, right? The EQ is going to be higher of someone who's not drinking and giving into these things. And now look, I am not against drinking in any way. I do enjoy cocktails. I enjoy great cocktails. I don't like mediocre cocktails. I don't like mediocre anything. I like the creativity of cocktails. But in this day and age, I mean, there's $20 cocktails. I mean, when I was in Italy, I think we had a $45 cocktail. I mean, is anything worth that? And so for a lot of you, you're doing it just also to save money. Like these dating bills that men are paying, and I am hearing about women who are just drinking and drinking 4 drinks on a date. Here's a great story. I dated a man who hired a very expensive matchmaking company, not my company, thank goodness, and they put him on a date with a woman who proceeded to have a drink in the beginning, a drink at dinner, 2 drinks at dinner, and then they went to a bar in Beverly Hills, and she wanted to have more drinks. Well, she also wanted him to put his hand on her thigh, and she wanted to go chat with the other guys at the bar, and it was just pathetic. Like, she had gotten very drunk, and in the midst of this, he was done with it, and he put $50 on the table to pay for the drinks, and he left because she was out chatting with other guys at the bar. She was, wooing them and pursuing them. And look, you could look at her story and be like, how rude of that guy to do that. But look, if she's doing that, I'd probably get up and leave as well. So he had 0 tolerance for that kind of behavior. He was in an area that he was well known. It was embarrassing. And so ladies, control yourself. I hear often, time and time again, of you ladies kind of relaxing, drinking. It's probably because you're not paying the bill. So you're like, well, keep adding another one. And if a guy is on a date with you, and here's a golden nugget here, guys. If you're taking her to just drinks, always offer food. Always offer an appetizer. Otherwise, it does look like you're trying to get her drunk, and she might get drunk. I know if I drink on an empty stomach, it is quick. So it's never a good idea for me. So make sure you're always eating before or at least during any of the drinking that you're doing. Be really safe and smart about it. But I'm curious what you all have to say about this because it is such a topic. So many of my clients don't drink. And then when I'm trying to put them on a date, women will say, oh, well, he doesn't drink. I don't like that. Is it because you're afraid that someone's going to judge you? Is it because you're afraid you don't think they're fun? What is it? So it's a win if somebody is choosing to not drink. And I don't want to call it sober. I just want to call it, they're just choosing to not drink. They're choosing a healthier lifestyle. They're choosing early morning wake ups and hikes with you. They're choosing to be able to be intimate and be sexual because if you drink too much, come on guys, I just did a whole podcast on ED. I mean, this definitely is an inhibitor. And when you're drinking too much, women can't finish and climax because they are just too drunk. So it is a win to be healthy and wise in your drinking. And I have seen, DUIs. I've dated guys with DUIs. Of course, you don't know that. No one is posting that on their Bumble. And then when he is Ubering around everywhere, you kind of go, wait a minute. Why are you Ubering everywhere? Because he has a DUI. And so again, we are avoiding these things when we are avoiding over-drinking in alcohol. And I'm not going to, here's 420 too. A lot of people, even on our database matchmaking questionnaire now, we ask, are you 420 friendly? And look, I hate smoking. I hate the idea of all of this for safety reasons. But, if you are a drinker, if you are a 420 user, you do need to make that aware early on. And there are plenty of people who are also doing harder drugs. For a lot of people, it's not cool at all. So if that's you, then you should be happy with that and be proud of it and make it clear, because I don't think it's right to do it the other way around. But you guys, I want to be talking about a little bit of these harder topics right now. This is where the rubber meets the road. I don't want you guys wasting your time with the wrong people. I really want you focused, especially in 2024 coming up. And I want to read this email that I got today from a listener. And he says, "Hey, Katy," and this is from John. "I absolutely love your podcast. I love how you have the Christian touch, but not as if you're holier than Jesus." And you know what, guys? I have to be honest, I'm sitting here telling you things that I've done, that I've regretted, and the lessons I've learned in dating. So please note that this is really important. Ladies, make sure you're not over drinking on dates. Guys, do not encourage her by saying, "Let's have another." Ladies, don't try to do the, equal. If he's having one, I'll have another one. Really make sure that no one is driving if they're over the limit. Guys, you can offer Ubers. Ladies, get your own Uber out of safety. You do not want a DUI. There's so much to this that we could unpack. But I think just keeping it smart and just, drinking less and joining me in January for a little dry January would be fun. So you guys, I just want to encourage you to stay healthy, to date smart, and to be thinking on this topic and really kind of open up your heart to people who are sober and who choose just not to drink out of health and wellness reasons, because that will be a dating win for you. All right, you guys, until next time, cheers to great dating.